Ask whether it's parenting causing all this. You need to really understand what your kid is having. So let's say autism is a neurological disorder. So it's formed in the womb and all that. It's not up to you. Mummies, we don't pregnant and say, I want the eyes, my kids to be like this. I want their brain to be like this. It's none of our fault. It's being formed in your womb and it's by God. So then our kids with dyslexia, what is their challenge? We need to understand what is the thing that they're having. So a lot of it is neurological and it's not something that you can change it or you do something that changes it. So you have to understand what the DSM is saying. So instead of that, you don't doubt yourself. A lot of times we say that, is it because having kids too late and all that? But how about people that actually have babies late and they're okay? Who's going to answer to that? So we are going to go back to the biblical perspective of how it is God has been said to us, that God's power we're going to seen through them. Because we have God, our kids will be different, no matter what people say there is lah. So it's the same as what doctor's diagnosis is and what you're going to see in your kids' future. There's a lot that we speak about because from your tongue and there comes power into your children's life. That's why when Alvin say, I'm seeing him getting better and he is going to get better because of your perspective and how you believe in it.
I do believe in when the child is very, very young, like 1 to 3 years old, or 1 to 5, the formative years, what you give to them will affect them because we all give them different stimulation to help them to develop. I have encountered a child, it's not because he has speech delay. Later on, when I get to know the family, I realize that the parents never talk to him because they're just too busy. So then you realize that he can't speak not because he has certain special needs, it's because the parents are just too busy. Parents, both of them speak perfectly well. In fact, they are in the corporates, they are high up there. But when they get home, they just want to do their work. So the kids actually mirror what they speak at home, which is not pronouncing the words. So that's why you can't hear him. So that's why how we teach them, how we speak to our spouse, how we speak to grandparents, how we respect, not respect, whether we let them feed themselves, it all goes into them. So that's why we need to give them the right development.
Well, I used to think that giving my kid too much phone caused him to be like that. I also used to think that it could be a genetic thing. But, I mean, and based on my reading, there is no substantial research yet on what causes autism. That's what I understand. So you don't know. No one knows. Nobody knows. Nobody can say, and nobody can be a full expert on autism. Everybody's still trying. They can be PhDs, right? They can, like I told you, I got 2 diagnoses. One is ADHD, one is autism. And one that diagnosed as ADHD was a neurologist and a developmental ped. So I'm like, got more paper means better. So from what I understand is no. And what if it is, honestly, to be honest, what if, maybe my screen time causes him to be like that? What does that help? Give him less screen time? Well, less screen time is good, right? We practice less screen time now because more screen time is not a good thing. We do other things with them. I think the focus, I feel, shouldn't be at the past, but it should be at the future. But if your concern is, if my concern, like I shared with you just now, that I had to change. Before this, the babysitter was the phone, and I had to change that because that was not, even for neurotypical kids, that's not a good idea, right? I had to relook at the way I parent my son, and I had to be better. I had to be better as a dad, not to be better in my methods, but to be better first as a dad, to be more self-aware as a dad, to know, okay, what needs to be done for the good of my son, what needs to be done for the good of my both my kids. That is something I had to realize first before I even think about methods. It was more of like me first. I had to change first, and then I find out. And then when I came out of the denial mode, I started reading, I started looking, I started finding, I went for workshops, I went for different things just to find out more. And of course, in the beginning, it was all bad news. Even if you send your kid for therapy, I mean, I'm very encouraged to hear Swansea share good news stories. I always hear bad news, no? The psychologists will never give you 100% that it will work on. And they will always say in my relapse and all these things. I understand that they don't want to take responsibility. But I didn't hear any good news. But then I started hearing good news. I started hearing I started reading books. I started opening up myself to the community. And then like, wow, there's so many options out there. One of the things that my wife did was that one of the things that helped her was she joined Facebook groups, mommy Facebook groups, and they will encourage each other, they'll say, oh, this thing happened to my son, and they will all encourage each other because everyone understood what was happening. And I think that was powerful for me. Not necessarily the method, or it was just me saying, I need to change first.